I think that's the last checkpoint for this stage, though, as we have our first fight with Dr. Robotnik of this game. He has a little car now. This is actually a pretty easy boss fight. Just jump into his little car a certain amount of times, avoiding the drill at the front. It's still tougher than Sonic CD's first boss, but it's still not exactly a difficult fight. And he can also launch the drill, but still not that big of a deal. Flies off as usual, and we have a little capsule to mark the end of the stage. So instead of 3 zones, we actually only have, or 3 acts, we only have 2. Like the half-pipes, Chemical Plant is a very interesting stage because of hindsight. You know, at the time, I think Chemical Plant was pretty well liked. I like Chemical Plant still, mostly for the music and atmosphere, but nowadays the overall opinion of the stage has gone down, and the reason is oversaturation. Basically, whenever they need to do a nostalgic throwback stage, they always pick Green Hill, and they always pick Chemical Plant. That's been the case for the last, like, 3 Sonic games that have done throwback levels. I don't know when this video is going live, so Sonic Frontiers might actually be out by the time this video goes live, but from what I've heard at the time of recording this, yet again, Chemical Plant and Green Hill are returning for Frontiers. Also, for some reason, this tube slows down. I don't know if that's a Switch problem, or if that's on all versions. I've also seen, like, very little, like, I've seen very few people actually point that out, as I've actually seen no one point this out. So I do wonder if that's, like, a Switch-specific problem. I would imagine so, but still, kind of odd, especially since Mania didn't even have a slowdown there. I don't know if I just have really bad luck with routing, but I'm convinced that there's like no checkpoints in Act 1 of Chemical Plant, because I don't think I've ever seen one. Again, I'm sure they exist, I just have never found any. So no Chaos Emeralds there, we actually can move on to Act 2, which is a very infamous part of the game, especially if you're playing a version of the 2013 release. Because the retro engine versions of these games tend to have a little bit of trouble with hitboxes, specifically when getting crushed. These blocks can be very troublesome. I'm going to be very careful to not get smashed, or not get smushed by any of these blocks as we have to climb up. There's also the inherent problem with Chemical Plant of not only does the stage get reused a lot, set pieces get reused a lot. Like, very specific moments of the stage basically pop up every time they have to do a Chemical Plant throwback. So instead of just invoking the feeling of the stage, it also invokes the direct level design, which also makes the general fan response towards Chemical Plant coming back so much a lot more polarizing. I still like the zone a lot, again, mostly just because of the atmosphere and the music is great. And that's another problem, games like Sonic Forces don't even bring back the song. Moving on to Special Stage 6, we're starting out with a very steep requirement of 80 rings. I think this is the one I was worried about. I want to say there are some cheap bomb placements like right at the end of the stage, and I've definitely lost the very end. I'm going to do my best to focus and try to get through this as smoothly as possible, but this might be another one we have to play through twice, just because I do recall having to actually play this, like, multiple times in the past. I'm also pretty sure the camera doesn't move when jumping in the original. To be fair, I actually don't usually play special stages in a lot of the actual original Sonic games, so I may be mistaken, but I could have sworn the camera stays, like, fixed when jumping. But again, it has been a while, and again, without the ability to retry, I tended to just skip special stages. Also, Tails doesn't have as many incentives to actually get the special, or to get the Chaos Emeralds, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. If I can remember, I've actually said that multiple times in these playthroughs, and I've completely spaced out on actually going back to specific topics. One thing I definitely remember bringing up and then not actually returning to is actually... Oh, that's bad. That's what I get for trying to talk about Labyrinth Zone, I guess. But yeah, Labyrinth was actually supposed to be much earlier in Sonic 1 originally, and then was moved to late game because of how difficult it was. That was something I meant to bring up in that original Let's Play of Sonic 1, and I just completely forgot because there was other things I got talking about in Sonic 1 specifically. We are cutting this very close. I need to avoid taking any more damage, basically, if we want to get this emerald first try. I think we actually did it. I'm actually a little bit surprised. One thing about Sonic 2 that I really like is how it feels like kind of an evolution, like, of Sonic 1 in a different way to Sonic CD. Again, Sonic CD I almost feel like builds off of the sort of exploration side of Sonic 1, while this game builds off more of the, like, balance, speed versus platforming side. So I generally do prefer this. I am taking a lot of chances by actually flying up this, but I'd rather get out of this section as soon as possible. Again, the block hitboxes tend to be very unwieldy. I've definitely died there multiple times in the Mania version of that particular section, where I'll just get crushed for seemingly no reason. So I guess now is a good time to talk about Mania and having some audio problems. I flew into the special stage ring, so Tails' flight sound is still playing. I don't know if that's the case in the 2013 version, or if that's an Origins-specific problem. There is a very specific Origins music issue that I will talk about probably after the special stage, because I kind of need to focus a little bit on this one. You basically just jump back and forth. This one's like weirdly easy, but I can still mess this up, so I'm going to be a little bit careful, and yeah, actually try to focus a little bit, even though I don't think I'll have any problems with this. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the sound of Tails flying, because we might be hearing that in the background for a little bit. Yeah, there are some issues in Origins. To some extent, I do feel like, for the first 3 games at least, a lot of the issues aren't that bad, but for Sonic 3 and Knuckles specifically, there are definitely some issues, which is why I'm kind of waiting for a patch. Wow, we already have 193 rings, so we actually will get the emerald by default as long as we don't take damage, which I need to not jinx myself too much, clearly. There are rings along the way, so we will be able to recover a little bit even if we do take damage, but still, we can't take too many hits here, or else we'll definitely lose too many rings to actually make it to the end. But again, this one overall isn't that bad. It's surprisingly easy compared to some of the earlier special stages. I want to say there's like a last-minute bomb around a turn or something. I guess not. So yeah, that's it. It's still going, I just noticed. I wonder how long it'll take for that to go away. In any case, we have all the Chaos Emeralds now, all 7. For some reason that, like, launcher never works, so I try to slow down here to avoid falling into the water. Tails also does not have a super form, so I was trying to press X and nothing, which is typical for Sonic 2. Tails would not get a super form until Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Specifically, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, not even base Sonic 3, if I'm not mistaken. This time Dr. Robotnik will basically try to drop this, like, toxic liquid on us, so we have to avoid it. The floor is also like flipping over, so we have to be careful to not fall. I try to stay towards the center of the arena whenever possible, like so, and we're good to go. Alright, Aquatic Ruin Zone. So this is your typical Sonic water level, but as far as water levels go, this one's not too bad. You spend a lot of this above water if you're playing well, which again goes back to my recurring Sonic issue of these games are great if you know what you're doing, but for a first time playthrough, these can actually be a little bit rough. Aquatic Zone is a great example of that, where if you know how to stay above water, it's not bad. If you fall into the water, things can get pretty rough quickly. But yeah, as is, this isn't too bad. And also Tails can swim, he can also fly, so he has a much easier time through this than even Sonic does. But again, this is no Labyrinth Zone. I'd say there's even less water proportionally to Tidal Tempest, and even that was not nearly as submerged as Labyrinth by comparison. I think we're already done with Act 1, yeah. I think I talked about this during CD, but one feeling I have, especially when going after the Chaos Emeralds / Time Stones, is how disproportionately short the stages feel when you're not trying to see everything the stage has to offer. What I mean by that is, now that we have all the Chaos Emeralds, we don't have to worry about, you know, carefully holding onto rings, finding checkpoints, and so on. These stages go by really quickly. That is almost one issue I have, more so with CD. I almost feel because CD stages are less well suited for like going quickly through them. But with Sonic 2, now that we have the emeralds, we can kind of just like blitz through all these levels and just kind of have fun, just trying to see how fast we can get through everything. It's a very different experience than CD, which is a lot more platforming focused. Again, I definitely have warmed up to Sonic CD quite a bit. Again, playing the current version definitely helped with that, but I still prefer Sonic 2. By the way, these pillars falling will crush you, and you will lose life if that is an option, or at least you'd have to restart from a checkpoint. I also feel like this background is kind of odd. Like, the way it's layered never felt quite right to me, and that's not an Origins thing. I'm pretty sure that's in the original too, where it always felt kind of off. Like the way, yeah, everything is like layered, if that makes sense. Yeah, these stages go by quickly if you're not trying to hold on to rings. Another fight with Robotnik. Basically, if you're playing as Sonic, you have to wait until he hammers one of these pillars that'll launch a spear out. And you can use actually more like an arrow. You can use the arrow to jump up to Robotnik to deal damage. Tails being Tails, he can kind of break this fight a little bit. He can fly, he can also just fly to the top of the pillar and jump towards Robotnik, no problem, like so. I usually like playing as Tails because he is essentially the easy mode of the game, and Sonic 2 is not an easy game, so I do appreciate having a slightly easier mode. Though to be fair, since he doesn't have a super form, this is actually harder than with Sonic at this point. Alright, Casino Night Zone. This is like the most confusing zone to me, because a lot of Sonic games have casinos, and I'm always like, what casino stage is this? Whenever we get to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, do not be surprised if I call a stage Casino Night at some point, by complete accident, because it's really hard for me to keep all of the casino levels, like, straight. I definitely confused them a lot. These all have a lot of bumpers, kind of like Spring Yard Zone, these little pinball flippers. We also have a pinball mechanic where we can basically fall into a little catcher, and then we can basically roll a roulette to try to get a like three symbols in a row. If we get 3 Robotnik symbols in a row, we'll lose rings, but if we get, like, you know, 3 Tails icons in a row, we'll gain rings. By the way, Tails' actual name is Miles Tails per Hour. I feel like this is the Sonic equivalent of saying that Doki Doki Panic is Sonic 2, or Super Mario Bros. 2, or actually vice versa. Super Mario Bros. 2 is Doki Doki Panic. I also almost reflexively said Doki Doki Literature Club for some reason. Yeah, miles per hour, pun on miles per hour, but colloquially known as Tails. This game is actually also cool because it shows the meeting of Sonic and Tails, which was talked about in the manual, and also referenced in Sonic Adventure, in the flashback after Sky Chase Act 1. Yeah, I think this is the first time it's actually been, like, directly animated in this style. It's a little bit truncated, to my understanding. Like, obviously, I think Sonic doesn't warm up to Tails quite as quickly as in this cutscene. Obviously, having no dialogue and having to be a very short scene, it has kind of shortened their actual meeting.